Our series of debates continues with the candidates for Ward 3 City Councilor for the City of Fitchburg, incumbent City Councilor Andrew Couture and his challenger Joe Bowen. Thank you both for joining us. Our first question, we're going to get right into it, is the economic challenges faced by the City of Fitchburg. The city has been using a good amount of free cash to balance the budget in recent years, and that free cash is running out. An independent analysis by Clifton, Lair, and Allen projects a budgetary deficit of nearly $9 million by the year 2030 and made several recommendations to address this. One of them was to implement a trash fee on residents. Now, I'm going to get into, in different questions, other suggestions that they made. But for this question, I'd like to know, will you vote in favor or against CLA's recommendation to impose a new trash fee? And if you are voting against this, where specifically would you propose cuts from the budget to offset the revenues that would have been generated by such a fee? Mr. Bowen.
Well, thanks for that question, Kevin. And the CLA report is a very interesting report that the mayor had commissioned, and gave us a nice 5-year projection of what's coming and some insight into what we can do to combat various challenges that we have with our budget. In particular with the trash fee, we're currently paying $1.8 million to process our trash. And our landfill, there's no question about it, folks. The landfill is going to close in the next 5 to 6 years, and we are going to have to find a way to cover the cost to take our trash out of town. There are several cities and towns that have faced this already, including Leominster and Lunenburg. And what we need to do is we need to debate and discuss this now, not wait until the last minute to figure out how we are going to pay for this. Now, are we going to need to have a trash fee? Well, that's what needs to be debated and discussed. And if we don't start talking now, we will end up having to pay for it through a trash fee of some kind. But we do need to look at what the trash fees are. Various options are available. There's pay by the bag, pay by the barrel, and some other options. And please, don't be fooled by anyone who tells you that we're never going to pay for our trash again, because that's just false.
Councilor Couture.
Thank you very much. I've made a lot of recommendations during the budget crisis, the budget discussions this past year, and there are places that we can cut. And unfortunately, I do believe that our citizens, many of them are on a fixed income. My mother-in-law is a good example. She's on Social Security. She would not be able to pay for the trash tax, and I think, honestly, my vote would be no, because we already pay too much. I understand that we are going to have to pay something for trash going forward, but I think putting it on our residents is not the place where we want to go. Right now, one of the big issues that I've talked to residents about is that what are they getting for their money? And the Ward 3 City Councilor needs to look at the proportion that Ward 3 is getting, not just as a city as a whole. I understand that's what the at-large councilors are supposed to do, but the Ward 3 City Councilor needs to be ward specific. And right now, Ward 3 is not getting what they're paying for, and I would vote no.
Okay. I'm going to open this up for up to a 5-minute discussion to continue on whether or not to vote on a trash fee, and if not voting for the trash fee, what specific cuts will be made to offset the revenue generated by that. So
I'd like to step in on this, and it's great to come out and say that you're going to vote against the trash fee in general, and I think that that's a wrong thing to say coming out of the gate, because we don't really know exactly what the full scope of how we're going to deal with our budget deficit is going to be. We have had a deficit that has grown since 2019. And that's when my opponent first came into office. And my opponent sits on the Finance Committee. And in March of 2025, he was convicted by a judge and jury of 4 counts of fraud, misappropriating funds and forging invoices, and a judge awarded treble damages because of gross malfeasance. He's appropriating your tax dollars and clearly can't be trusted. He's an embarrassment to the city, should have resigned immediately. Fact check this on masscourts.org. Look at Fitchburg District Court, Winchendon District Court, and Worcester Superior Court for details. And while you're at it, look at the Mass Board of Bar Overseers website at massbbo.org, where his law license is currently under disciplinary review. Now, getting to the budget, 94% of the budget is non-discretionary. We're looking at schools, public safety, healthcare, which is out of control, and pensions. In my opponent's spotlight video this year, he made the following statement. When a plan was put forward to take away medical benefits for our municipal employees and replace it with a single-payer system, I voted against it. Now, this is a statement of someone who didn't do his research, because this was not a vote about single-payer system.
Hold on 1 second,
The proposal was to allow the auction to participate in the GIC,
Let's let Councilor
not
Couture
a
respond.
single-payer system.
There's been a lot of things said. Let's let Councilor Couture respond.
And I can also say in 2023, his spotlight video said this.
So
we are in a good
first
place.
off, I want to talk about my
Fitchburg
opponent's
is in a red
We'll get back.
allegations.
There's a lot of things said. Let's let Councilor
There's
Couture
been a
respond, and
lot
we'll get back
of
to you.
misrepresentation about what has been going on in my private life. All right? I was never convicted of anything, but yet we have Mr. Bowen's campaign
It's
going
on
out and telling people
masscourts.org.
that I was convicted. I was not convicted. The issue that I had was from a former client who got all of his money back and decided to sue me anyways. Now, what they're saying, folks, is outright lies. Yes. Do I have a civil case against me? Yes. Is it currently in appeals? Yes. But I have never been convicted. Him and his campaign have been going door to door, lying to you, saying
If you look
that
at
I have been
the judgment was
arrested.
against you.
Yes, so do you, Joe. So do you. And back in 2012, you got sued by the Disney Corporation because
No,
you
that's
did not pay
incorrect.
your fees.
Was I on the judgment?
Yes, you were.
I was not.
Yes, you were.
I was not.
Your name was and your company was named in it. So let's
And the
not
company
go
that I was
throwing
not
stones.
with anymore at the
Let's
time
not
of the
go
suit.
throwing stones. Your name was on that lawsuit
right.
as well.
Well, thank you
You've
for
been
that.
sued
You know,
civilly
the-
as well.
the evidence regarding
now,
to the fraud
getting back to
counts-
the budget and the things that actually matter.
The evidence is clear and uncontroverted, according to Judge Locanto. You did this. And you did
Joe,
this. The
what
court
does that
also
have to do
concluded
with
that
anything?
the violations were knowing and willful.
Do I actually handle the money? No. Guess where that comes from? The treasurer. All right?
It's still,
what you're telling
you
these
still
people
need to be trusted
are
with the
wrong.
city funds.
No, you are lying to the people. And so is the mayor's husband, who has been going door to door, targeting and harassing people.
So how
that
do you-
is what has been going on,
how do
Joe.
you explain-
Now, getting back to the budget, please.
Yes, please. Let's get back to the budget.
Yeah, let's get
In
back to
6
something
years,
that's actually.
in 6
that's
years.
it. Let's get back
my
to something
opponent,
that has
he has
actually
had full
mattered.
access to department heads. He never took the time
I've been
to
in
talk to
constant
them all.
contact with the department head,
You
Joe.
have made one cut to the budget in 6 years, and it's
I
the
made
cut you
one
did
cut
this
to the
year
budget,
was
which
to
is
take
was a
$50,000 out of
cut
legal services
because the mayor
out of
is
a
wasting
$5
One at a
million
time,
dollar
please.
debt
The
One at a
mayor
time.
is wasting
What
money
One at a
you
time.
did
on
was asinine.
on the city
It's like burning
solicitor.
down the house.
No.
Okay.
What
Just
you're
to fix
saying,
the leaky
Joe,
roof.
is wrong. Okay? I made one cut because the mayor, your friend, that is you work well with, and you're going to be just a rubber stamp for anything that
And
she
you know,
wants.
that's not true.
Now,
I have been representing
no.
residents of Ward 3 every time I've campaigned, and I am going to continue to do that. I will be their voice. Now,
You're representing the people
we
of Ward
talked
3
about, we're talking about the budget, right?
Yeah, that's
All
what
right,
I
so
thought we
let's
were
get
talking
back to the
about.
budget.
But you're going on.
We have about 20 seconds left on
You're
this
going
question.
on
We're
with
talking
some
about
side project.
You
We're
have no
talking about
cuts.
maligning me.
You have no cuts.
Yeah, I do
Where
have
are your
cuts.
cuts? Where are they? You've only had one cut in 6
$50,000
years.
cut because the
Yeah.
mayor is wasting money on the city solicitor.
No, and
yes,
it's not true
that's
at all.
exactly what's
It's
happening.
not true at all.
It's
We're not
costing
here to
us
debate
triple,
the law
if not
department.
quadruple, what it was under the prior administration. And allegedly, this was supposed to save us money. But guess what? It's not saving us money.
Okay,
It's
our
costing the people.
our 5
Time
minutes
is
are
up.
up on this question, but the next question's related. You'll be able to go right back at it, okay? So another recommendation from Clifton Larson Allen is a Proposition 2.5 override. In order to get that done, it would have to go before the voters. And in order for it to go before the voters, the city council would need to vote to put it before the voters. So if you are elected on November 4th and are on the city council next year, will you vote to put a Proposition 2.5 override ballot question before the voters? Councilor Couture.
Thank you very much for that question. Now, would I vote in favor of the Prop 2.5 to at least put it on the ballot? Yes, I would. Why would I do that? Because before it gets voted in, it has to go before the public. It has to go before the voters. It's the voters' choice. Do you want to pay more? The people that I've been talking to are definitely not going to vote for it. But it's the people's choice of what they want. Yes, are we in a fiscal crisis? Definitely. No question about that. You are going to be $9 million in the hole in 5 years. So we need to find the money somewhere, and making cuts, like to the city solicitor, going back to what's cheaper and not what's more expensive, that's what's going to be important in order to be able to save the city money. In addition, cut waste. There was a line item budget that was put in order to be able to cut the parking coordinator, but we were told by the mayor, oh no, don't cut that overtime because we need it for the people to paint the lines in the garages. Well, guess what? Last week, did you see anybody painting lines? Yes. But guess where they were? Guess who they were? They were from the DPW. The city took DPW workers to do something that should have been done under the parking coordinator. Because why? Who knows where this money's going? You know, that's who controls the money, Joe, is the mayor and the treasurer, not any kind of city councilor. I have never seen any money coming out of the city personally. All you see is numbers on paper, and you vote for it or against it. Now, we've been at this now for, what, almost 15 minutes, and I haven't seen any cuts of yours. I haven't seen any proposed cuts from you.
Okay, your 2 minutes are up, but we can get back to this in the 5-minute open discussion. In the meantime, Mr. Bowen, you have 2 minutes to answer. Will you vote to put a Proposition 2.5 override ballot question before the voters?
Thank you, Kevin. And I think this is probably the one thing where we're aligned here. You know, the Prop 2.5 override is a very serious thing, and if it were to come to me at the city council level, I would vote to send it to the voters, quite clearly on that. The voters need to decide this. But really, I don't think we need to get that far in our budget cycle this year. We have a lot of ways that we can work towards improving our budget situation. And one of the things that I've been saying all along here is we're not going to be able to cut our way out of this budget. We have to grow our budget, grow our way out. And we do that by bringing in more housing and more businesses to raise the tax rolls so that we can shrink the amount of deficit that we have to cover. And so that we will have to find some way to make up that gap, and free cash may not be the right thing to do in this time around. And we have to look at these other things, perhaps, that the CLA report has been provided to us. If we don't debate and discuss them and just throw them away, then we're stuck using our free cash, and none of us want to do that. That's all I have.
Okay. Either of you have anything to add to a Proposition 2.5 override?
I think we should just put it to the voters. Let the voters decide.
Yeah.
And I think my opponent and I, see eye to eye on that. It's the voters' choice.
We good on this one?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, we will move on. Another recommendation from Clifton Larson Allen is for a stormwater maintenance tax and the creation of an enterprise fund for it. Will you vote for the stormwater maintenance tax and the creation of an enterprise fund for it? And if voting no, where specifically would you recommend cuts from the budget to offset the revenues generated by such a tax? Mr. Bowen.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, you know, this enterprise fund is pretty interesting in that we have several businesses in the city with really large parking lots, and they're sending their stormwater runoff into our wastewater treatment plant. And it's millions and millions of gallons of water. And there's a cost to process all of that wastewater and stormwater runoff. And that cost is being borne right now on our residents who pay property taxes. And I think it's reasonable to assume that as a business, you should be expected to pay a portion of that cost in order to conduct your business in the city. But here's the thing, you can't just flip the switch and have this enterprise fund created and you charge businesses whatever. You have to do some research. You have to have debate and discussion. You need to look at other cities and towns around us and try to see what's competitive and put in the appropriate charge so we're not driving businesses away. We're attracting businesses because of our fees are lower than our competition. And I really think that that's something that definitely needs to be looked at as a possibility. And in addition, there are other things we can do, particularly with housing. As I had mentioned, we have to grow our way out of this budget situation. We have a project called Eleanor's Lofts on Depot Street. That's a housing project that is going to have about 250 units of housing. That property brings in about $50,000 a year in property taxes right now. If we put this into place, if we put Eleanor's Lofts in place, it will bring in $850,000 in tax revenue. That's almost a quarter of our current deficit. What's not to love about this project? It's going to bring in more residents. It's also because when we have more residents, we have more needs from those residents for services, and that will bring more businesses. And when we bring in more businesses, we create more jobs for people to work at those businesses. And then from there, we build up our local economy.
Thank you. Councilor Couture.
Thank you very much. Well, the stormwater tax, let's face it, it's just a tax on rainwater that's running off your house, running off your driveway, running into the storm drains. Where basically they want to tax us on rain. And that's the long and the short of it. Right now, I really don't think our residents can afford that. I am up for discussion. I am up for debate in regards to this. And if commercially, we want to put in a stormwater tax for large parking lots, well, maybe we should discuss a very limited stormwater tax. You have the places down on John Fitch Highway. They have a massive parking areas. But to getting taxed based on your particular driveway, I just don't think it's really an option that our people on fixed incomes can really afford right now. I mean, with Unitel's prices, the grocery prices, the taxes just the way they are, I think it would be a little too much for our residents. Now, I've talked to people about this, and they have said resoundingly that they're not interested. I understand we need to find the money. And again, I think if we tighten the belt a little bit more, now, I know we're very limited. You can't cut the police, you can't cut the fire, you can't cut the DPW. We've tried all that before, and it was an absolute disaster. And in fact, I was talking with a firefighter friend of mine, and he said it's getting outright dangerous how poorly staffed they are, and the equipment is failing. These are issues that need to be addressed, yes, but putting an additional tax on our residents, I really just don't think it's a good idea at this point in time.
Okay, we'll open this up to a 5-minute discussion.
Yeah, I'd like to just like to make a few statements on this. It's clear that my opponent has not read what a stormwater enterprise fund actually is, and he's also made statements that we would be taxing people for rainwater. Well, we're already charging our residents to process rainwater for what's going in the storm drains on the corner of their driveway, at the bottom of their street. And we're also paying for those large parking lots and all the stormwater runoff that goes there. This is not going to increase taxes on residents. If anything, it would decrease. And it's not taxes, it's fees in this particular case, the way it's described. The stormwater fees would not likely be as high because businesses would be absorbing
so
a
let me ask
portion
you
of that
this, Joe.
cost.
Would it be money actually coming out of the taxpayer's pocket? Is that what it's going to be? Yes or no?
It's
Simple
coming
question.
out of the businesses.
Simple question. Yes
No,
or
it's
no,
coming out
Joe?
of the businesses.
It's going to come out of the businesses.
That's right.
But are you going to? Is it going to come out of people who have roofs? Is it going to come out of people who have driveveys? Yes, it will, Joe.
No, it will
yes,
not.
it will.
It's for large
that is
parking
that
lots.
is complete bunk. They want to tax you on the rain that falls on your roof, the rain that falls on your driveway. What my opponent's saying is not accurate. It's going to affect commercial.
You've made the statement that we would be taxing people for rainwater.
It's going to affect commercial more.
We're already making residents pay for rainwater processing
guess what?
at the stormwater treatment plant.
The EPA
wastewater treatment plant
is going to bring us to court if we don't get the stormwater separation. Now, that should have been taken care of back in the 90s. But unfortunately, back then, they squandered the money that was supposed to take care of it. And now it's landing on our backs.
And you're defending the implementation of a stormwater runoff enterprise fund, but yet you're saying you won't vote for it.
No, I won't vote. I won't vote for anything that's going to pay.
But you just made statements that support it.
No, I did not make statements to support it, Joe. I don't know if you're actually here or not, but I never made any statements. I have said, no, I'm not going to support it. We need to tighten the belt a little bit more. I know we have a financial crisis on our hand, and it's not due to either this administration or the last administration. What's it from? It's from health care, and it's from the pensions. Now, we're going to be going up again, in the next 5 years, and we're going to be underwater, literally. And now you want to tax everybody? That is going to land on the homeowner. It's going to land on the homeowner as well as commercial. Commercial is going to be paying more because they have the bigger parking lots.
That's correct.
But the people are still going to be paying more because rain fell.
You missed the point. We're already paying for it today.
And how so, Joe?
The residents are paying for the lion's share of everything that the businesses are processing.
Through what? The water bill?
Water bills.
Through the water bills?
That's right.
Yeah, that keep going up and up and up, and it's going to go up even more. People can't afford it, Joe.
Because that's what happens.
People can't afford it anymore, Joe.
I haven't seen water bills ever go down. Have you?
Not in this city.
Have you seen it in other cities?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. All right. Well, maybe we should learn something from them. How come you haven't provided information about that during your time here on the council for 6 years?
Why the mayor
We're
is the
trying
one
to
that
save
makes
money
the
in the budget.
The
And the
mayor's the one that
responsibility of a
makes
city
the budget,
councilor is
Joe,
to have an
not
open
the
mind and
councilors.
look at different things and options and implement what would be best for the city.
Yes or
and here you are
no.
coming with some ideas that you haven't researched, and you've had 6 years to do so.
I've had 6 years. Yeah, I've had 6 years to do so.
And the whole time,
and
our
part
budget
of that
deficit has been growing.
Was during the pandemic.
You've offered only $50,000 in savings on years of millions of
But I
dollars of
voted in
deficit
favor
growing.
of a lot of the cuts that Marcus DiNatale suggested, that Amy Green suggested, but
But you've got none of your
those
own.
didn't get voted in. Those cuts didn't get voted. Why, Joe? Because, again, you're just going to be another rubber stamp for what the mayor wants.
I don't know how you tie that, but have fun with it. So what I want to say further now with regards to cutting, like we said, we're not going to be able to cut our way out of this budget. And my opponent is continuing to fight against additional ways of saving money or shifting money from other sources in order to close this gap. And I just don't know, with him in place as your city councilor, how we're ever going to move this city forward budgetarily.
Anything else?
No.
Anything else? Okay, well, with that, that was a quick half hour. We're going to move on to closing statements, and we'll begin with up to a 3-minute closing statement from Mr. Bowen.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Folks, you know me. I'm the chair of the Fitchburg Cultural Council, where I have served to fund over 150 events in the city of Fitchburg this year alone. I sit on the board of the Fitchburg Redevelopment Authority, and you've seen me at all the city cleanups. I've hosted and attended many events in the city of Fitchburg. You've seen me at the grocery store, or maybe you've heard me on my weekly Friday morning radio show, where I talk about all the things that are happening in the city of Fitchburg in the coming week from our community calendar at fitchburgmass.org. But if you haven't met me, I'm Joe Bowen. I've built my life here for over 2 decades. I've moved my family here, and community service is something that I have done my entire life since I was a child. I love this city, and I love this ward. I'm active, I'm accessible, and I'm present. And I'm just looking to make Fitchburg a better place for everyone. We need a city councilor who listens, who acts, who collaborates, and communicates with residents. But more importantly, we need a city councilor we can trust. I'm just a regular resident like you, trying to improve the ward, trying to improve our life here in Ward 3. I'm not trying to climb a political ladder by running for mayor, at-large councilor, or governor's council like my opponent likes to do every now and then. I'm not here to play politics. I'm here to serve you, the residents of Ward 3. We're embarrassed by the actions and inactions of our city councilor. He's my councilor too, and I've had enough. It's time for change, and we need to move on. Please do your research on both candidates. Check out my website at electjoebowen.com, email me at joe@electjoebowen.com, or call me at 978-868 3772. And please check out those websites, masscourts.org, Fitchburg District Court, Winchendon District Court, Worcester Superior Court, and the massbbo.org website. That's some information that you really need to read, and you can make your own decision as to whether you can trust our current counselor. Please, then, talk with your family, your friends, and your neighbors, and get out and vote for me, Joe Bowen, on November 4th. Thank you so much for your support, and I look forward to being your next Ward 3 counselor.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. Councilor Couture.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to say, Ward 3, thank you for trusting me and relying on me for the past 6 years. I'm asking for another 2 more. I have taken many calls. I've taken many emails. I've also had messages through Facebook, which I've responded to. I've been accessible. I've been the only city councilor that actually has ward meetings for residents of the ward specifically. In fact, my opponent's wife actually thanked me for doing it, for being so accessible. I have also been a part of the city council. I've been on the finance, I've been on the appointments, I've been on many different subcommittees, working hard for you. Now, why do I want another 2 years? Because I enjoy what I do. You've seen me driving around doing my ward drives, making sure I try to keep illegal dumping taken care of. I also have addressed many issues with trees, with roads, with potholes. You name it, I've done it. I've been there for you. Now, what my opponent is trying to do is he's trying to muddy the water, indicating that I'm sort of a crook, which is what his campaign has been trying to do. I am not a crook. Feel like Nixon here. But what's going on here is he has nothing to run on. And what he's doing is he's trying to besmirch my name in order to gain more votes from you. Now that is not only unfair, but it is definitely slanderous. And
It's not slander if it's true.
No, this is Councilor Couture's time.
it's slanderous, and it's a misrepresentation of what's going on here. Now, he's been going around the ward, making up these lies in order to influence you. Don't allow it to happen. I've been working for 6 years hard for you. And I want to make sure that you have a fair and independent voice on the city council, and not just a parrot on the mayor's shoulder, squawking what she wants to hear. And that's exactly what my opponent is going to be. He is not going to have an independent voice, your voice. He is just going to do what the mayor tells him to do, which is why he's running against me yet again for the 3rd time in a row, because the mayor and the mayor's husband wanted him on the Fitchburg Redevelopment Authority. Unfortunately, he did not get appointed under the Appointments Committee. He was voted down on a majority. The next day, he pulls papers to run against me, having a vendetta against me. You can reach out to me at 978-503-2237. You can contact me on the city website as well. Thank you.
And that concludes this debate for the candidates for Ward 3 City Council in the city of Fitchburg, incumbent City Councilor Andrew Couture and his challenger Joe Bowen. Our series of debates will continue with every contested race in the city of Fitchburg and Leominster. If you missed some of this debate, you can catch it on demand 24/7 on the FATV website and also on the FATV Facebook page, and it will be replayed on local access cable over and over again until Election Day. That's it for this debate. Thank you very much.